to lesson 10, which is going to focus on revision of the content that you have covered in the first 9 lessons of this pack of work on Elizabeth I. We started by looking at this overview of the module back in lesson 1, and we said we were going to focus mainly on the blue section. We can see that we have covered points 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the lessons that we have done. The last 9 lessons, we've looked at Elizabeth's problems when she became queen, we've looked at the religious issue, we've looked at the religious settlement, we've looked at Mary, Queen of Scots, and the relationship between Elizabeth and Mary and the problems that caused. So we've covered all of that information in the first of 3 sections of the syllabus, and not only have we done that, but we've also moved on to the second section of the syllabus on challenges to Elizabeth, and we've covered the revolt of the Northern Earls, we've covered the Rodolphi, Throckmorton and Babington plots, and the significance of the execution of Mary, Queen of Scots. If you now look on page 45 of your lesson notes pack, you can see the same quiz that you did 2 or 3 lessons ago. So, without cheating, without looking back at what you got last time, see if you can answer the 10 questions and see how many you get right. So you pause this now and have a go at those questions. Alright, here are your answers. Check what you got, see if you got more than last time, give yourself a score out of 10. Okay, hopefully you got more than last time. What we are going to focus on now is some real in-depth revision of each of the aspects of the course that you studied so far. So you're going to be looking at 1, 2, 3 and 4 in the blue box and 1 in the yellow box. You're going to use, to help you with this revision, these revision organisers. You have a copy of this in your lesson notes pack. This will help you mainly with the first 3 elements in the blue box that is an overview of the syllabus, and you will also use a second revision knowledge organizer that looks like this, that you also have in your lesson notes pack, and that will help you with some of the knowledge needed for the end of the blue section and the start of the yellow section of the syllabus overview. So start with the blue section. Look at number 1, the situation on Elizabeth II, society and government, problems of legitimacy, gender marriage, challenges at home and abroad. And what I want you to do is to find the relevant sections on the knowledge organizer, and I want you to read them. I want you to do some read, cover, write, and then check. So you're going to do some of your own revision notes that you do from memory on the first section. You are then going to check that they're right, add anything that you didn't get, and start to produce some revision notes for that little section of the module that we've studied, and then move on to the second bullet point on the settlement of religion, then the third one on the challenges to religious settlement, and the fourth one on the problems of Mary, Queen of Scots, and then the first of the yellow section on plots against Elizabeth. And for each one, find the information on the knowledge organizer, read it, cover it, write down what you can remember from what you've just looked at, then check it, add in any details that you missed, and keep doing that as a revision activity until you become really comfortable with the material in each of the 5 sections. So in a minute you're going to pause me. I'll put the first knowledge organizer slide up, so you could just pause the video and look at the first knowledge organizer slide on the screen whilst you try and do some read, cover, write, check, or you can use the actual replication of it in your lesson notes booklet, and then after sort of 20 seconds or so I'll put up the next slide on this video, which is the second knowledge organizer, and again you can pause that and just look at it on the screen whilst you're doing your revision, or you can use the one that's in your lesson notes booklet. But to recap, what you're doing is you're looking at either 1, 2, 3 or 4 on the blue, 1 on the yellow section, and you're going to find the information on the knowledge organizer which relates to that particular set of bullet points. You're going to read it, you're going to cover it over, you're going to write what you can from memory, you're going to check it against the original and add in anything that you were missing. Okay, so I'll put up that first revision knowledge organizer slide now, and then after about 20 seconds I'll put up the second one. You can either pause the video and do it that way, or instead you could use the copies of these that you have in your lesson notes pack. Okay, so some read, cover, write and check, off you go. Okay, so hopefully you've done some really good revision there, doing some good read, cover, write and check using those resources. You'll have a good handle and you feel comfortable with the information in this booklet. If you look at the last page of that lesson notes pack, you will find this slide here, which has questions laid out in the style of the exam. You do a 4, a 12 and a 16 mark question in the Elizabeth exam. You spend around about 50 to 55 minutes doing that. The 4 mark and the 12 mark and the 16 mark, you're familiar with those types of questions. They are very similar to questions on the medicine module, for example. And you've also looked at some of the ways to answer them during this lesson notes booklet. So what I would like you to do is to answer each of the questions and then send them on to your teacher. And that is the end of that. It's the end of this lesson notes pack. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. Take care and hope to see you soon.